My name is Bob Arata. I live in Baldwin, Missouri, which is suburban St. Louis. I've been an AMA member since 1957, and this is my 10th year coming to the EAA convention. A few years ago, it was decided that we were going to have problems with the model we were using here for the control line venue, and we were running out of the planes that were commercially manufactured, and they were a little bit fragile, and they were also out of production. So the idea was to come up with something that would stand up a little better in use and also be not terribly expensive to make and be made especially for this venue. And Art Johnson, Dan McEntee, and I traded ideas for quite a while, and I worked out the details of the building, and I built the first 5, which were very successful in the 2010 season. Some of the features of the airplane are, first of all, the Norvell 061 engine, which was used on the previous commercial model. It was the Bratco Sky Baby, and Art Johnson made an adapter plate here that involves rubber bands and plates with connecting horns on it. And the engine from the Sky Baby was adapted to this model directly on. It went on the same way, and if we have to change an engine, it's a matter of taking some rubber bands off and go again. The Norvell 061, some of them have been in use since the first year we started using the product when it was on the Sky Baby, and some of them are still running here. The new plane is called the Tuff Baby, and I wanted to go in through some of the details on this one. It's made out of the wing, and the body and all is made out of a product called Coroplast, which is really looks kind of like cardboard, only it's made out of plastic, and it's used for signs and things like that. It's available in 4x8 sheets and also available as leftover political signs, which we have used. The keel of it is made out of white pine or basswood and was set up to be a strut down the center that was pretty well indestructible, so to speak. And the other thing was, as looking at it from the side, the canopy gives you a side view, and it's also the handle for a hand launch. It's made up of several layers on the bottom, and then they're screwed together. There's not very much glue involved, except making the T-section in the center. The glue has a little trouble sticking to Coroplast, so we went for the whole thing is held together by 5 screws, and the parts are interchangeable. The push rods are all the same length and bent the same. The bell crank mechanism is interchangeable from one to the other and can be changed out if we have trouble with it. And likewise the engine mount. The airplane was purposely designed without landing gear because we're operating here in the grass, and the airplane at the end of the flight just plops in, and it's got the old nylon propellers on it that can take the grass landing quite well. So with that, we've got something that's pretty well, we call it a Tuff Baby, and quite frankly, we haven't lost any of them in the times we used them in the 2010 season, or this year. We haven't broken any of them. The controls were put on top for 2 reasons. One, this is not only a trainer for flying, but it's a trainer because it shows you how it works. It's right there. And also when it lands in the grass, the controls and the mechanism doesn't get mixed up or broken, that kind of thing. So we have an airplane that is very successful for just what we're doing with it here. I come here for several reasons. First of all, I am an airplane enthusiast and have been for a long time. I'm kind of an air power historian, and I can tell you what an FP-51 is and some of the old Warbirds. It's interesting to me, and part of the perks of coming here is not only we do the KidVenture venue, but we do get some time to go down and look at the EAA show that is going on at the same time. And I have spent some time down there looking that over, and we enjoy parts of the air show, although we don't get to quite as much as we do because we are volunteers and we're here for half the day and sometimes 2 shifts. I'm an AMA contest director. Our club in St. Louis puts on 4 contests a year, and I do enjoy it. I think model airplane building and flying is a very excellent way to raise children, and it involves so many different skills, down to fine motor skills, down to competition, down to athletics. It's a blend of a lot of things and both indoors and outdoors. You can build on a rainy day, you can fly on a sunny day. As we come up here, we see young guys that and girls and parents even that enjoy coming out here and may have never seen this, and a lot of people have no idea what control line is. So first of all, it's an introduction to control line, and we do have people at the beginning of the line to kind of give them a preview of the plane. They can show them a little bit so when they come out to fly it. To see a young person come out there and run across the field, and most of them run to you to get to it, and you put the handle in their hand, and we've got the procedures for starting down rather quickly, so there's not a lot of fuss to get the engine started. We're in the air quite quickly, and they're with you most of the time and watching the plane go, and you can maneuver for them and help them maneuver. And I always say when we start, I say we are going to fly this airplane together, you and me. I'm going to hold on to your hand, but I want you to feel what the handle's doing, feel what the airplane's doing, and they always have a smile on their face as they're coming out toward you and when they're leaving. I've had all the way up to when we're not too busy, we give a chance for adults to fly. Some people will say, I did this as a kid. Some of them will say, oh, I'm an RC flyer, I've never done this. And some of them will say, you know, I did this as a kid. So we have adults, we have very small children. I've had 18-month or year-old children in my arm and holding the handle with them, and you can't tell them too much, but they get a kick out of seeing. And I had a baby that was about 1 year old or a little more in my arm flying this thing, and he was watching the plane the whole time. I had his interest at that very young age. That's about the youngest one I've had, and the answer was to pick him up and fly the airplane and work with him that way, and he got a kick out of it too. So we do have a good time. I've been a Boy Scout leader and a Cub Scout leader in my time, and this is just kind of a different progression of doing that kind of work with kids.